At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field. I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school. Explore over 300 programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Stop right there. Yeah, you. If you like all things entertainment, current events, or Hollywood, then look no further. Creator to Creators, hosted by director Meosha Bean of Horror Noir, interviews filmmakers and creatives from around the world. Join in on the fun, guest celebrities, and informative information to have as a creator. Hit subscribe and stay connected to Creator to Creators.
Everyone, welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today we have a special guest.
Cupid.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Of course. I really like the name, by the way. I love the name. I'm like, I love it. It's different. It's nice. It works. It works.
I've been working on it a lot to make sure and it's something that, people can really gravitate toward.
Definitely. Well, I always like to go back to the beginning. I always say that the beginning of our life, growing up charts our kind of our trajectory and where we're going in life, like our little habits and things that we pick up along the way. So tell me a little bit about your childhood, and then kind of how did you find your way into music?
For sure. Actually, through my childhood, I did find my way into music. So when I was about 4 years old, my aunt, she had a piano in her house, right? And she played this one tune for me, and while I was sitting right next to her, and I played it back exactly by ear. So my parents were like, "Okay, cool. You're definitely going within the music industry for sure."
Definitely.
Yeah, they gave me an option of what I'm saying, what direction when it came to instruments I wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
So it was either the guitar or the piano, because I had a fair interest in guitars at the time as well. So I chose the guitar, and I stuck with that for a hot minute until about middle school. And then I started learning how to play the piano, and then I taught myself how to play the drums as well.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Self-taught. Love that. So you pick up pretty fast. I tried the guitar for a little bit and it just didn't. I was like, no, I can't do this.
It's a lot of finger coordination.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So you would say growing up, you were pretty much in a musical household, you were surrounded by arts and stuff like that, the music world in a way.
Not necessarily. Well, not like my immediate family, but I do have some uncles and aunts that are in the industry as well.
Nice.
Or that were.
That always helps. Definitely. What appealed, what kind of, for me, I'm more in the film side of things, and I remember telling my parents that I was super young that I was going to be a filmmaker. I was like, I want to make movies.
Yeah.
It was after I rented the Alfred Hitchcock series one summer, and I just fell in love with cinema, and I knew then I wanted to make films and do this.
For sure.
What for you, what was there something that kind of clicked in you, a song, I don't know, what made you say yes, this is what I definitely wanted, I definitely want to give this a music thing a go?
Like a song or a moment in life?
A moment, yeah, anything, yeah.
So when it came to a moment in life, it would definitely be when I picked up the guitar at 4. You know what I'm saying? But during that moment, for sure, I was like, okay, I want to be in a band or something, but growing up, you realize there's a whole bunch of other stuff in the industry for sure. When it came to where I'm at right now, because I went to school. I'm actually going to school right now for
Nice.
My bachelor's degree in music.
Awesome.
Yeah, I actually came here to learn how to produce, or not learn how to produce, but and continue my endeavors in producing. I actually started listening to music like by myself, without like sitting in my parents' car, like living room, with radio on.
Yeah.
Um, Great, but I actually started out listening to dubstep before. Yeah, on some crazy something. But besides, what's it called? Listening to hip hop. So yeah, I started off with dubstep for a little bit because I was a cross country runner and I needed something high energy. And then some of my friends ended up putting me on to artists like T.I., Young Thug and stuff like that because I was down in Georgia at the time. And I was like, yeah, like these beats are hard for sure. Like, oops. Yeah, that's been like my goal ever since I was in like the sixth grade.
Wow. That's so cool. So producing, I mean, obviously, it's a great way to like be able to also not just do like lay down the lyrics, but also produce, which means like you can always just make a song like whenever you want. Like it
Right.
actually helps. So,
Exactly.
and it's like I think I noticed like producers, artists, producers, like for I guess your Pharrell's,
Hmm.
he can do, he's super versatile. So like he has more like a longevity in the business.
Most def.
Um, so I mean, is like what do you like about producing? Like what is it that you enjoy the most about it?
I actually don't like producing, which is the part. Yeah. So I had to produce my 11th grade year in a high school, because what our my high school, excuse me, we had a program to learn how to produce and everything, and work DAWs like Logic, and Pro Tools.
Nice.
Um, yeah, that's when I first started learning, and like I continued with it for another year until I hit college. But college, what I'm saying, I was looking around my peers and stuff like that. I was a little bit behind, but not too far behind. And it's just completely different, playing the instrument, compared to like actually producing like whole tracks and stuff like that. And I kind of like fell out of love with it. I can't lie. Um, and then how I got into like songwriting and rapping myself was through one of my producer friends. He was like, "Yo, hop on this track." It was for a school project or something like that because our school constantly has us do make tracks and stuff when it comes to grades and stuff. So yeah, he was like, "Yo, hop on this." I hopped on the track and he was all like, "Yo, for your first time songwriting and rapping, like this is really good for sure. Like you need to continue pursuing this." And I actually fell in love with that. So I was like, might as well be enjoy myself while being in the industry than like doing something I'm not necessarily enjoying myself fully. And I
Right.
can still produce now, like no problem. But what I'm saying? It's like I definitely endeavored within songwriting more during my college years.
That's cool. That's really cool. Let's talk about your your upcoming project, Kill Cupid. Now, I
Mm.
really find that very fascinating.
Yeah.
The wording. Tell me a little bit about that and like, I mean, as much as you can without giving it away. How did that come about?
Yeah. So mainly it just came about. Originally, it was going to be just like a compilation of tracks,
Mhm.
and I wanted a name that like really would stick with the audience, but diving deeper into it when it comes to like the meaning and everything is just you know transitioning from high school to college, especially going from like one state to the next, is a huge thing for somebody.
Mhm.
And what I'm saying, I'm learning as I go. I'm making new experiences as I go, and I'm learning more about myself as I go. And the whole point of Kill Cupid is channeling those negative emotions and those negative things about myself, and making some positivity out of it. And that is like music itself. I feel like music should be fun at the end of the day,
Oh
and
yeah.
definitely having fun with it. When my audience gets a chance to listen to it, it's a lot of high energy tracks, for sure, stuff that you can work out to.
Nice.
Um,
We need
but
that.
yeah, comes to like Kill Cupid, it's like I'm essentially like, killing certain parts about myself that I don't necessarily like. And yeah, that's very prevalent within my tracks.
I like that. And that's honest. I feel like it takes a lot of, I mean, to be vulnerable as an artist and put your emotion into like your music, it
Hmm.
takes a lot of I don't know, courage, I would say, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, most definitely, certain sense, but at the same time, I feel like, what I'm saying, when it comes to, how devoted you are, it should really become like second nature.
I see. So just I like that. Very open to it. Because, the mainstream music world, like you don't really hear a lot of artists kind of pouring out their heart of like, I think that's what I really enjoyed about, I think it was, um, Mr. Morale. What was it? Was it Kendrick Lamar's album? Like it was a very, very therapeutic album. And I was like super happy to hear someone that at that level talking about, you know, mental health and how serious that is because it's
Most,
not really talked about. So kudos to you for definitely talking about that, like and just being
yeah,
open.
yeah, it's been
That's
a minute for me to gather these tracks together too, and that's what I feel like as well, like because a lot of artists definitely take, sometimes like less than a year, like they take 2 weeks to make their projects, and like they end up flopping for sure. But I want to make sure I have like, a hit every track,
yeah, nice body of work. I love that. That's great. I'm excited for it. Yeah,
Thank you. Cool.
yeah. Um, so I love asking this question and again, there's there's no wrong answer.
Mhm.
Just what you think. If the three levels of influence, money, power, and respect, and if you could choose one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
um I would choose money first because I gotta support myself.
I
Um,
get it. I get it.
Most definitely. Um, then comes the respect because I know actually I'll say then comes power because without power you can't make money. And then respect is last for me for sure because in all honesty, um I'm not gonna ask anybody for respect or anything like that. Like, what I'm saying, I feel like it has to be earned uh first and foremost. And like if you don't like me, yo, you can get the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not even tripping when it comes to stuff like that. So yeah, it's not really high on my tier list.
I feel that. No, and I think that's really honest. I mean, I feel the same way. Like at the end of the day, like you're not gonna meet all your fans or all the people that, you impact or listen to your music. So it's like at the end of the day, as long as you're doing what you love to do is,
Of
you know,
course.
it's the most important thing.
Yeah, you're not gonna be a fan for everybody. So, you know, you're better off coming to terms with that than like, playing a facade in your head.
Yeah. And that 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 part. Do you ever get like and I'm curious because I feel like a lot of people with like the whole fans and putting your art out there to the world that that people can like kind of critique and like
Hmm.
talk about. Do you feel like it's that the internet is very, I don't know, just ruthless? They just say whatever they want to say. And how do you like take it with a grain of salt? I'm not saying that. I mean, I think there's constructive criticism, and then there's that other side of like it's not so
Right.
constructive. It's like very just really mean. How do you deal with that as an artist?
Um, you just have to learn how to grow some tougher skin. I feel like at the end of the day, like I've I've acquired like, some moments of that because, I'm so early in my career, like I'm not receiving like a huge influx of like, negativity coming my way yet. But yeah, just growing some tougher skin and like I said, realizing like, people can say whatever the hell they want behind the screen. And that's mainly like the main drive when it comes to that. Like, I could say something behind the screen, like literally whatever, and get away with it. Nobody can really tell me nothing. Um, but you gotta understand, like, what I'm saying, a lot of these people that would rather sit behind the screen, um, they're more followers than they are leaders. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think it's just like a certain sense in that where I'm like, okay, that's you at the end of the day. Like, I really couldn't even be like offended by something like that.
Right. Absolutely. And then that's real. That's real. I remember when I did this film and it was with, I thought I was like, yeah, this is one of the biggest ones I've done, with some big actors in there. And,
Hmm.
we saw the reviews and it was a mixed review. And I was like, oh, I gotta work on my you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah, absolutely. But obviously there's even if you're the best, right? Quote unquote, there's like a Jay-Z or something or Beyonce. There's people that don't like them and their art, and that's just what it is. But
yeah,
I mean, you can't deny the fact that they're not, they're talented,
of course, yeah. At the end of the day, because like Drake just dropped his new project too, and that received mixed reviews.
Yeah.
And and people were like complaining about it, but I'm like at the same time, like it's Drake, like you know what I'm saying, what what more can you really like say? Like we know he's talented, and even though he didn't give people the best of his work, um, he's still doing what he's doing.
Do you feel like, and I know you're not at there yet, but do you feel like when you see other artists who've been in the game really a long time, um
Hmm.
people expect them to be at a 10 every time they release an album, like even though they've already proven their talent or worth in their with their longevity of being in the business for so long, like you're like a Little Wayne or a Nicki Minaj. Like I feel like people, there's still like this expectation that is so high. It's
Of
like
course,
you're not going to hit a 10 every time. It's impossible. It's like when
yeah, yeah, certain sense. I feel like there's plenty of factors that like go into that. Yeah, set a bar high, like what I'm saying, the bar's already set. You know what I'm saying, you're bound, and you need to go higher than that for sure. And yeah, to a certain extent, it's like it's kind of impossible to like reach further. But at the same time, when it comes to like these artists that don't understand when it's like time to like just quit. You know what I'm saying, not quit, but like just retire, man. You don't got to keep making music forever. Like you're at a good spot right now, or like just take a couple years off at the same time. Like like back to Drake, he dropped like 3 projects within like the span of like a year and a half or something, or like two
Oh,
years. And it's like, bro, like I said, you're Drake. You don't need to be doing all this. Like, for you to be receiving like mixed reviews or something, you're not really putting forth like your biggest effort within like your music. And that's where Kendrick shines compared to like other artists, because he takes like a couple years like in between his projects, like 3 4 years, 4 or 5 years, and he's just sitting there experiencing life, living life to make sure to give his fans like the most genuine of body works.
yeah, yeah. And I think that, yeah, of himself, absolutely. And I cannot wait to hear your project. I'm super, super stoked now. I mean, super excited.
It's, I'm coming.
Yeah, it's exciting. What, like, okay, when you're making the project that you're working on, what was the most, I guess, vulnerable and hardest song to make?
Like it's just like certain bits and pieces that like are spread out within my project, because it's more than just like negative emotions and stuff, because like I said, it's like it's supposed to be positive, it's negative turned into
Positive.
like sure.
Oh, okay.
um
I
Also like
got you.
include some parts of my personality in there as well, like I'm a huge fashion fan, like I'm a huge pop culture reference fan as well, like I'm a big anime head, so like
Nice.
there's plenty of things like reference within that as well. um so I wouldn't say any of the tracks necessarily like extremely hard wrenching to make.
Nice. Oh, anime. That's cool. What's your favorite anime right now?
Oh, right now, okay.
It's so
uh
many. There's so many
I've
good ones.
been watching like a whole bunch since I was a kid. I would say like my favorite, like a good one that I could definitely come back to is JoJo. Have you seen that one
I
before?
heard about that. My friend says it's really good. I haven't seen it yet, but she says it's amazing.
It's super good, and it's like it's visually like pleasing for sure.
Ooh, okay. I gotta check it out now. I'm
Yeah,
all
so
about a visual.
exactly. You're a big film head, so I know exactly how it is.
I love that. That's awesome. Um, so when have you like, I mean, when you were in Atlanta
Mm,
doing music, like I know Atlanta's very like, there's a lot of music artists. There's I think the Ti lives there. There's a lot of rappers that are in the area. Was it hard to like network with people and like communicate as far as like music wise?
yeah.
Did you meet any artists that you like collaborated with or talked to, or was it kind of hard to just like talk to like to like form a I don't know to find your tribe, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. Actually, my tribe is not in Atlanta. My tribe is down here in New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
Here, and I have a whole bunch of peers here that are doing music as well that continue, sharpen my knife when it comes to my craft.
Nice.
And yeah, my tribe is actually down here. I have a couple artists that I work with back in Atlanta, but it's nothing too crazy for real. But I didn't really start my career until I came here to New Orleans, and
Nice.
that's what I talk about that in my track that I just released September 22nd. Okay, wait.
Nice. I mean, for me, when being I grew up in Florida and then I moved to
Mm,
California, it was so easy to find like I knew they were my people. I was like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
finally. How you just like like, okay, this is where I belong. This is like my people. When I was growing up in Florida, I didn't feel like I was like I feel like I was out of place. I didn't feel like I was in
Hmm.
like it did. I was like, ah, no one gets me here. Um, and I feel like, other places to just have the people or not. I don't know. So I don't know. That's why I asked that question. But that's cool. That's cool that you have, a group, a tribe that helps and everything. So that's always good.
Of course.
If a really fun question, if you could perform with any artist, living or dead, who would you pick and why?
Young Thug.
I did not expect that. Wow.
Really, especially like stuff and just like I said, like he just has so much fun with it for real when it comes to like his music and his lyrics, and that's something that I definitely take from him for the most part. And yeah, like free Thug.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Poor guy. Yeah, hopefully.
Yo,
How do you get and overcome like those like just anything that like bad happens or you have rough moments in your whether it's in your career or just life? How do you overcome those things to see the positive side of life?
yeah. You got to find another angle when it comes to tackling something for sure. Something's not working for you right then there in the moment. There's definitely another way to do it, and another way to have fun, like essentially. Um, because like with the COVID situation and stuff, I actually I came into college and I left high school during the COVID era. I was class of 2020 for high school, and I'm class of 2024 for college. Um, I had a whole what's it called? It was like they broadcasted it through like a TV screen, like what I'm saying, of us graduating. Everybody had their stoles and caps and everything. Sitting
Wow.
out. Um, but basically, like the point I'm getting at is just there's always something. There's something else for you for sure, and it might be closer than you think. You know, exercising at home for sure. Is one of them. I started editing videos and like working with like Adobe Premiere Pro and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just taking out of contact. There's like there's just other ways of going about things for sure when something's not looking up for you.
Yeah, I love that. No, that's a good way to look at it. So you would say you're always like you're basically a motivated person. Like you don't have any like I mean I'm sure you have moments, but like for the most part, you're motivated.
I
Like
can't
you're
stay
self-motivated.
like if I stay stagnant for sure, like I'm gonna lose it. I can't do it. So, I got to stay busy. You got to stay doing something.
I get that. I get that. What about so any advice for people that like wanna try to do this music stuff from your uh point of view, like from your experience? Any advice would you give somebody that want to start making music?
Um, make music for yourself. Don't make music for anybody else, first and foremost. Um, and keep listening to your stuff and realize like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I got it, maybe I don't or something. And don't be afraid to show your music as well. Like if you know that you do have, you know, that X factor. Um, and just have fun with it for sure. There's going to be moments where, you know, if you do make it big, you're not going to be doing the stuff that necessarily resonates with you. You're going to be listening, you know, to higher ups and stuff. So while you have the chance, just to make music for yourself, for sure.
Yeah, I love that. Make music for yourself. Do you feel like, and this is my last question, really. Do you feel like independent artists, well, I mean, you hear so many artists talk about it, like your Chance the Rapper is being independent, but then his career is great. Um,
Yeah.
but then that's not the case for a lot of independent people, people who are taking that route. But
Hmm.
do you feel like the mainstream, like bigger contracts are better in the end versus independent way? Or do you feel like you rather do mainstream because then you have more, visibility, but you can't really say exactly what you want to say, like being a free person who's independent. Do you feel like does it matter?
It doesn't really necessarily matter. There's definitely ups and downs to both, for sure. But like, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to like signing a contract, you automatically resign some of the things that you were, you know, able to do beforehand. And when it comes to like Chance being independent and stuff like that, nobody's ever truly independent. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? There's always like somebody, you know, behind them, and there's like a team behind them, or like a manager or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? I could have a manager right now and I'm still considered like independent, but I'm not necessarily like independent or anything. You know, I have a creative director, I have, you know, a videographer and stuff like that. I have people giving me ideas when it comes to a promotion and stuff, promo team, you know, stuff like that. But like, I'm still technically independent.
Yeah.
Um, you know, signing the deal for sure is just like making sure you have a bigger platform and like, you know, somebody to give you a bigger microphone to hold. Um, I don't say there's necessarily the right way to go. Just as long as you're reading what you sign. That's pretty much,
That part.
yeah.
Definitely. Well, that's good. That's great advice. Um, are you working on anything right now besides the new project? Is there anything that you like to share with our listeners?
For sure, for sure. So I'm currently rolling out a couple more singles. Like I said, I just dropped a single under Cupid. Okay, wait. Um,
Okay, wait.
and yeah, I continue to keep this ball rolling because you know we're doing numbers right now, and we continue to do numbers. And there's no better time than the present. So I'm finna drop something. Hopefully late October. I'm finna drop another single, and then after that, I want to drop another single. Sometime during November, and then it's gonna be project time, baby. Like you know, we rolling out with this shit. Oh God, it's gonna be
Yeah.
lit. So I'm gonna drop okay, no, excuse me, Kill Cupid sometime during the holidays. I'm thinking like, you know, late December, early January or something, when I'm starting my second semester of school. Um,
Nice.
and then I might have a couple of collab projects on the way as well, collab EPs and stuff. I worked with my cousin J Lab, that's JLAV, with a couple songs. Like we just dropped the EP as well recently called One Night. It's a three-piece, also under Cupid. And I might drop some stuff with him, and I got some other people down in New Orleans as well that I plan on dropping some stuff with. So hope
Nice.
it works.
Nice. Congratulations. And I think I think the song is awesome. I played it. I like to play it on the television and put the speakers because I have a surround sound system, and it was definitely jumping for sure. I was like,
Yeah.
this is a definitely a fun song. I was like, it's fun.
Um,
So definitely, I wish you all the best and come back anytime for sure. Oh, really quick, where can people find you on social media to follow all your things?
So, on all platforms, I am under KUPID REWSKII, Cupid Drewski. And yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking with you as well. I appreciate you.
Ah, thanks. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time.